Class Keter. Special Containment Procedures. Web traffic and law enforcement channels worldwide are to be monitored for evidence of SCP-4666 activity, particularly for cases of stalking or of anonymous phenomena involving families with young children. A was not event be suspected to be in progress. The nearest containment task forces to be dispatched to attempt containment of SCP-4666. Standard PDP-8 humanoid first contact protocols apply. Media coverage of family's death attributed to SCP-4666 is to be suppressed or falsified to make said deaths appear as non-anonymous home invasion murders. Forensic evidence in SCP-4666-A instances collected by non-Foundation agencies are to be confiscated, and witnesses anonymized. Description: SCP-4666 is currently believed to be a single, exceptionally long-lived humanoid entity of unknown origins. Survivors of was not events typically describe SCP-4666 as very tall, between 2 meters and 2.3 meters, elderly male of European descent, with an extremely emaciated appearance. The entity always appears completely naked, even when observed outdoors in freezing weather. Though the nature and extent of its anonymous properties remain uncertain, SCP-4666 appears compatible of instantaneous or near instantaneous travel to any location north of 40 degrees north latitude, and possibly any location on Earth. SCP-4666 activity occurs exclusively within a period of 12 consecutive nights each year, from the night of December 21 to 22 to the night of January 1st to January 2nd. This period is known as SCP's 4666's active phase. During this phase, in what are termed was not events, SCP-4666 will appear at dwellings in one or multiple locations north of 40 degrees north latitude. In all known was not events, these dwellings have shared the following characteristics: isolated royal location, home to a family with at least one child under the age of 8, and situated in an area with snow cover lasting for the duration of the event. 1 to 7. Children will report seeing SCP-466 in the vicinity of their family's dwelling. The entity will typically be observed watching the dwelling from a distance, such as a nearby field or from the edge of a nearby forest. In some cases, children will report waking up at night to find SCP-4666 watching them sleep through a window. Nights 8 through 11. Family members, including the parents, will report sounds of footsteps coming from the roof or the attic. An extremely unpleasant odor will also be frequently noticed inside the dwelling. No cause for these phenomena will be found. As a result, the parents will begin to suspect that their family is being stalked, or even that their dwelling might be hunted. 12. Over the course of the night, one of two scenarios will occur. The first, and most common, is that SCP-4666 will kill all members of the family save for one child under the age of 8, whom it will abduct. SCP-4666 will inflict incapacitating injuries to family members while they are sleeping, then herd them into a single room of the dwelling, where it will proceed to kill them in front of the view of the others. The method of killing varies with each event, and will typically be presented by some form of torture which appears to serve ritualistic purpose. In the second scenario, which has occurred in roughly 15% of known events, SCP-4666 will not harm the family. Family members will report hearing footsteps inside their dwelling during the night, though no signs of forced entry will be found. In the morning, children will discover presents at the foot of their bed. These will consist of toys crudely crafted from the remains of human children. Cason, Unknown Village, Carray, 1498. Unconfirmed. An entire family was killed with the exception of one of the children, who was abducted, though specific details about the event was not available in recovered documents. It was noted that the killings presented strong pathogenic elements, in that the family members had been made to suffer greatly prior to death. The archbishop who oversaw the investigation saw that he believed had been killed as a unknown village, Rupert's Land, 1689. Unconfirmed. An entire family was killed with the exception of two of the children, one of whom was adopted and one of whom, female, age unknown, escaped during the killings and was able to reach a nearby village. She told authorities a naked man had broken into her family's dwelling during the night and proceeded to torture them. Exact method not specified in recovered documents. Upon investigation, the bodies of the family members were found inside their dwelling, hanging upside down from the chilling. All had been exterminated. Alerting Germany. 1913. An entire family was killed with the exception of the youngest child, male, age 3, who was abducted. The bodies of the parents and 5 other children were found inside a stable adjoining their dwelling. They had been restrained by having knives, forks, and other sharp implements forced through the palms of their hands and into the wall of the stable before having their tongues removed, leading to death. Blood from the family members had then been used to paint elaborate patterns of unknown meaning on the hides of the mule, goat, and 2 cows present in the stable. The animals themselves were not harmed. Neighbors told the authorities that in the week preceding the killings, the father of the family had mentioned fighting tracks in the snow around the family's dwelling, which appeared to have been made by bare human feet. Soviet Union, 1956. An entire family was killed with the exception of the youngest child, male, age 4, who was abducted. The bodies of the parents and one of the other child found in the living room of their house. They had been restrained and their feet held over the flames in the fireplace for an extended period of time, calculating the tissues of the feet and exposing the bones. They had then had their heads crushed with an unknown heavy implement. Hundreds of bite marks, believed to be inflicted by post-mortem, were found on each of the bodies. Branches cut from a fir tree outside the house had also been placed over the bodies to unknown purposes. Goddess Shane, Norway, 1971. Children were found in the basement of their house. Each had at least one limb pulled off by brute force before being stabbed approximately 39 times with an unknown sharp implement, probably a piece of bone from one of their removed limbs, resulting in a massive blood loss and death. The family members then had been investigated and their small and large intestine removed and cut into 30 to 50 centimeter long pieces. These had then been arranged in radiating lines around the bodies. Feces from the intestines have been used to trace symbols of unknown meaning on the walls of the basement. Stater, Iceland, 1996. An entire family was killed with the exception of the youngest child, female, age 4, who was abducted. The bodies of the parents and 7 other children were found inside the house. All had large pieces of skin removed from their backs, necks, and groins prior to death. Removed skin was found to have been partially consumed. They had then been killed by decapitation with a bucksaw that had belonged to the family. Following death, the family members' headless bodies had been carried to their respective rooms and placed on their beds. Each of the removed heads had been placed upright on a step of the staircase leading to the first to the second floor, with the parents' heads on the top 2 steps and the children's heads on the lower steps in decreasing order of age. Noramesh, Finland, 1811. A small drum with 2 wooden drumsticks of uneven length. Drum skin consists of a 390 centimeter cubed piece of skin belonging to a children, stretched with thread made of human tendons. Gassigaia, Wales, 1857. A small knife, 15 centimeter in length. The blade is 6 centimeters in length, sculpted from a single piece of bone belonging to a human child. Symbols of unknown meaning have been carved into the handle. Cot, Kazakhstan, 1903. A flute made from the hollowed-out femur of a human child. Those have been bored at uneven intervals along its length. The femur appears to have been dyed with human blood. Bangor, Michigan, 1960. A wooden box containing 13 miniature human-like figurines, each 4 to 6 centimeters in height, made from perennial bones of human children tied together with strips of human tendons. The figurines have been decorated with human hair, small pieces of torn clothing. DNA revealed that the remains belong to 18 separate children. Cape Broyle, Canada, 1976. A ball, 23 centimeters in diameter, made from 19 layers of human skin, wrapped tightly around the desiccated head of an unidentified human child, male, age 2 to 3. Layers of skin are held in place with pine resin. Bard, Netherlands, 2006. A hairbrush. The handle is made of wood and poorly carved. The place of Brussels, 19. Decius. Human teeth have been set at irregular intervals into the handle. DNA testing revealed that the tooth belonged to a different child. Only 2 of the teeth could be matched to a known abduction victims of SCP-4666. Teeth vary in age from a few days to over 400 years. Discovery. SCP-4666's existence and ongoing activities were first detected in 1974 through the Foundation's newly implemented Anonymous Signature Regularization Program. 2. When several high similar home invasions incidents resulted in family deaths were found to have occurred throughout the northern hemisphere during the night of January 1st to the 2nd. Extensive research into civilization and law enforcement archives worldwide eventually uncover evidence of probable was not events for nearly every preceding year, going back to the late 18th century. Average of 3.1 known events per year. Numerous historical documents were also found which appeared to describe SCP-4666 activity occurring prior to this period, in some cases as early as the 2nd century AD in Europe and Russia, and as early as the 1st century BC in Scandinavia. Fingerprints belonging to some humanoid entity have been discovered at the locations of all Foundation investigated events. These have been matched to a partial fingerprint found preserved in dried blood on a covered SCP 4666-A instances dating from 1873. The fingerprints present characteristics not known to occur in human beings. Human-like white hairs were also recovered from locations of several was not events, although no DNA, human or otherwise, could be extracted from them. Addendum 46666-1 on 2-1-2018, several SCP-4666-A instances were discovered at a family's residence in Hawana, Alaska, following the conclusion of was not event number 060198. Among those instances was SCP-466-A-0960, which consisted of a crude life-size doll made from the incapacitated body of a female child, to which the following modifications have been made: a dress from various pieces of dirty, discolored clothing have been sewn around the body and in several places into the body skin. The mouth had been sewn shut with a shred made from human tendons, and the lips painted red with a solution containing primarily of human blood. The fingernails of another child had been glued over the body's fingernails with pine resin. Those had been painted red with the same human blood-based solution. 3 of the body's fingers were missing. The entire scalp had been removed from the head. The scalp of another child with long blonde hair sewn onto a head in its place. The hair had been tied into 2 braids. Both eyes had been removed. 2 large round pebbles on which its eyes had been crudely painted empty orbits. Upon examination by the family, the child whom the doll had been made was found to be alive, all but unconscious. Authorities were notified and the child was airlifted to Bartlett Regional Hospital in Juneau, Alaska, where she survived for 18 hours. 2 Foundation agents were dispatched and were able to interview the subject. Following the subject's death, her body was confiscated by the agents and witnesses anonymized as per standard protocol. DNA testing revealed the subject had been Olatka Maraziova, aged 7, a known abduction victim of SCP-46666, taken from her family's residence in Dovivka, Russia, on 2-1-2016. Autopsy of the subject's body shown that she had been severely malnourished during the 2 years following her abduction, which resulted and considerably stalling. Weight was only 15 kilograms, and height was only 90 centimeters. A number of and burns were found present on her skin. She suffered from 2 bone fractures, left tibia and left ulna, that have not been reset and had healed improperly. Hands were heavily calloused. Cause of death was attributed to multiple organ failure, resulting from severe sustained malnourishment. Log 46666 06201. Date 2/1/2018. Time 23:27. AKST 23:49 AKST. Location: Bartlett Regional Hospital, Juneau, Alaska. Interviewers: Ancient Atano Kowalski. Ancient Susan Muse. Attending. Subject: Ekla Meserva. Female. Age. Skin log. Agent Kowalski. Hello, I'm Anani. What is your name? EM. Are you here going to take me back to him? Agent Kowalski. No, I promise. I'm just here to talk to you. EM. Pauses. I don't want to go back. Agent Kowalski. You don't have to. You're safe now. My Suwaka. EM. Remains silent. Agent Kowalski. Can you tell me what happened to you? Do you remember the night he came to your house? EM. I remember he hurt Mama and Papa and Katzika and Yelena for a long time. They were bleeding, and after they stopped screaming, he put in his bag. His Agent Kowalski. His bag? He had a big bag. Other children were in the bag too. I think we go to other houses. I hear people screaming outside the bag all during the night. Each house he put another child in the bag. Then after the night he took us away. Agent Kowalski. Where did he take you? EM. Underground. Unknown word. Deep. Agent Kowalski. Underground? You mean in a basement? EM. Deep. Everything. Earth and mud and ice. Bones everywhere. Everything cold. I can't sleep because it's too cold. Agent Kowalski. Were there lots of other children there with you? EM. Lots of children. Lots of tunnels. Lots of holes. But I can't see all. I can't see the other unknown word. Too dark. My hole is with Rini and Helikala and Sasa and Paul. We make toys together. Agent Kowalski. The toys? EM. If you don't make toys, you don't eat. Don't stop making the toys. Don't fall asleep, or he hurt you. Agent Kowalski. He hurt you? How? EM. He hit you, or he burn you, or he bite off your fingers, or he cook you on the fire in his room and eat you. He eat Philip and Sally. Agent Kowalski, what about you? How did this happen to you? Did he do this? Pauses. Rennie, Helika, Sasa, and Paul do this. They have to. Why? I get sick. When you can't make toys, you become the toys. End log.